Hey guys, what's going on? Pyre here. Today we're going to be talking about Reinhart, the tank hero in Overwatch, and his abilities, how you should play him, and what you should expect out of him when you play him. Now Reinhart, as I said, is a tank hero in Overwatch. And a lot of people that play this game consider him to be one of the simpler tanks to play, or the kind of the default tank that everybody plays. And in some cases, I've heard a lot of people say he is the best tank in the game. That's up to debate, and that's up to you which side of the fence you sit on. But for now, we're taking it as it is and consider him one of the best tanks in the game, because I personally think so. Now, I personally don't think that Reinhardt is that hard to play or that hard to learn how to play, but he can also, in the right hands, be extremely dominant on the field. In the wrong hands, can just be a liability to your team, and even then, he can still be really good. Let's talk about Reinhardt in general, his stats and his abilities. He has a 500 health, 300 of that is just health, and 200 of that is armor. So in total, he has 500 health. His abilities are Charge, Fire Strike, and his iconic Barrier Shield. And his Barrier Shield has about 200 hit points or damage that it can absorb before it breaks, and after it breaks, it has a 5-second cooldown. His Fire Strike has about a 6-second cooldown. It launches a fire projectile at anybody, and it continues on, so it continues on, so it could be a long range weapon. It does 100 damage, and it has a headshot multiplier. So you get a hit. If you get a headshot with it, it'll do more damage. And his Charge launches Reinhardt at a significantly high speed towards the enemy or any direction you point it at, and it can push enemies back, anybody that's within the range, or if an enemy is directly in front of him, it charge him. It can pick them up and pin them. Now, by pinning, what that means is if you charge and you catch somebody within the range of the charge and you slam them against an object, or pin them, as the game says, pin them against an object or wall, that does 300 damage. And for most heroes, that could one-shot kill them if they don't have a healer around. So you have to remember that whenever you charge. Now let's talk about his damage output, to say the least. As I said, Fire Strike is sort of his long-range weapon, or long-range ability that you could use to hit targets far away. You're mostly going to be hitting stationary targets like turrets, bastions, snipers, whatsoever, because the projectile is slow, so you can't really hit really fast-moving objects unless you really time it right. I don't expect like a beginner to do it, but over time you can kind of learn how fast it goes and whatnot. His main weapon is his ginormous hammer, and it swings at one time per second, so one swing per second. It does 75 damage, and it has I guess you could call it an area of effect. So when you can see it when I swing, so wherever the hammer goes, it, like anything that will hit within that swing, it does 75 damage to you. So if there's two heroes in front of you and you hit them both, you did 75 damage to both at the same time. Then again, the range of it is not very long, so you have to consider that too. Now, Reinhardt's is considered by many the basic tank, because a lot of people think, oh, you just put your shields up and you go into it and you take the damage. And for the most part, they are right. But how you should play Reinhardt in a more strategic and more advanced way is that you should be aggressive conservative, and that's not really a term, but let me explain. You want to be aggressive in the sense that you want to be in the front line. You want to be pushing the front line, and pushing the objective, but not too aggressive. Like, you want to be with your team. I mean, that's the main point of Reinhardt in his shields. Like, you want to be in front, absorbing his damage, but at the same time, your friendlies want to be behind the shield, shooting out and getting high damage output without getting themselves damaged. Now, with the second part of being conservative, the aggressive conservative term, is that you don't want to necessarily like charge into a group of enemies and get surrounded and or cornered, because Reinhardt's weakness is that he's a big kind of big guy who's liable to getting killed easily, because he's so big. He can take damage from any direction, and he's slow. He can't really get out of a situation really fast. I mean, you can get out of situations within this charge, but it's kind of hard to point in a direction to exit and just kind of fire off, because you can't really navigate other than go in a straight line. So that's what I mean. Be aggressive, push the front line. You can use them sometimes to kind of pave a way. So if they're kind of standing in a line, you can earth shatter, charge, and break them off, and kind of make a beeline straight to the objective and push with your teammates and have them follow you. You can be kind of a slow pushing guy who like you kind of are mowing down people and making and you yourself are the front line. I think here like I push up really aggressive, and this is like the really aggressive strategy where I kind of just start pushing, and then after that I kind of back off just to kind of slow them down and get more points because we were behind. So that's the type of thing I mean. Like there is only like about 2 people that are going to push, and one of them was a tank, and that helps. And like here I do it again, but I don't realize the mistake that there is a lot more heroes there, and right now I'm low health, I'm surrounded, I can't really leave, I can't really escape, and I die. That's a type. So you want to be really smart with Reinhardt, because he can be really good if you're being aggressive, or you can be a liability to your team if you're being aggressive. You can just die off and leave him to die to high damage heroes. So you have to be aggressive conservative in the sense that you have to play it smart. Don't get yourself surrounded. Be in front of your teammates and be the pushing factor in your teams when you're playing the objective. Reinhardt is definitely one of those who can sit on the objective and kind of just watch it, especially on the I mean in general, both every type of game mode he benefits. Score the payload, he can just sit on the payload and take damage and be like a front barricade on the train. You can sit there and squat on capture the point and holding the point. So he has his advantages there, but as always, you have to remember that he's a slow tank. You can get easily surrounded if you're trying to be too aggressive and easily killed. So yeah, guys, those are my kind of thoughts and how you should play Reinhardt, and his overall look into Reinhardt and what you should expect and what you should do when you're playing him. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys learned something from this. Leave me a like, dislike, subscribe, everything, all of that shindigs down at the bottom. Leave me feedback in the comment section, and take care, guys.